Geraldine Moist and her crew, Bruce Garrison's Dairy, now going by, followed by Mary D. Stricker, Carol Allenbaugh. We have just now seen more than 130 units. That's the 130th unit you're looking at right now, which is already 10 units longer than the parade in Sunbury. We've got 29 more units to go, and in normal times, 29 units itself would be a pretty good-sized parade. But that's Mike 4 and his mini bike bandits. You just saw the McClure JC's float go by, and now you see the
that's Carmar Fire Equipment.
what is that?
Carmar Fire Equipment in Berwick.
Carmar, oh yes, what you saw was the Carmar makers of fire trucks go by. Middlesworks Chips, of course, right there in your screen. Started right here in Beavertown. Here you see Ben Walder. Ben Walder Farm and Implement Equipment, a dealer just east of Beavertown. That is a 1976 piece of equipment. Farm equipment, of course, like all other things, have gone up in price enormously. Freebies being tossed out. Here we have Eugene Shawver's 1937 Graham Supercharger. That's a supercharged 1937 Graham. I remember the dipstick on those things about 3 feet long. And a supercharged car in just super. Todd Walder and his group of mini bikers. Diana Walder. Beavertown Block Model T car, you're just now seeing. And a little soldier and his lady. Freebies being thrown out, children gathering them up. Next thing listed here would be Jimmy Krebs, but I don't know exactly what Jimmy Krebs is. This is A.F. Hummel going by now, Hummel's Camper Sales, and Kenneth Walder. That's the Bannerville Fire Company that you're looking at right now. Of course, Erie Gill has a popular song, the Bannerville Song. Oh, they chew tobacco-sin in Bannerville. Oh, they chew tobacco-sin in Bannerville. Oh, they chew tobacco-sin. And now we're moving away from the Bannerville song and looking at Dave Klein's Shelby Mustang GT 350. Of course, when Carroll Shelby built those fabulous Mustangs back in the late 60s, they were the super hot racing machine. They could really honk, as they say. And we have another Dave Klein Shelby Mustang GT 500. Some of the super racing equipment produced by Carroll Shelby, which led to the Ford Cobras. Here we have the Fame ambulance, just now coming in, and it's almost dark. You can see they have their lights on. So it's good that the parade is coming to an end, because if it wouldn't end very soon, we'd simply be out of light entirely. Now the McClure Volunteer Fire Company and the New Berlin Fire Company are coming right on their heels. Here you see the McClure Fire Company. And then you see the New Berlin Fire Company. There we are. You can see how bright the lights are now, and you can see behind that Elwood Troutman's antique car, and he's got his lights on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very nearly dark. Behind that is the DH&L marching unit, Dauntless Hook and Ladder Company, and the Middleburg Fire Company will be following that. We're getting right down to the end of the parade, so perhaps we could announce the winners. Again, the first place winners in our Beavertown Bicentennial Home Decoration Contest. In floral, first place Mr. and Mrs. David Coons. In doorway, first place Mr. and Mrs. John Hassinger. And in overall, first place, Mr. and Mrs. Alton Camp, and lots of other winners as we announced earlier. The Art Snyder's antique car is just to the rear there of the Middleburg Fire Company ambulance. You see the ambulance flashing. Art Snyder's antique car, I can't quite, it looks like about a 1946 DeSoto. It might be a Dodge, quite possibly a DeSoto of the mid-1940s vintage. The McClure bean soup float is just there. You see the 1946 vintage Chrysler product. The McClure bean soup float is now coming into view. There's the lead car, and there's the float itself. You see a group of, a Union officer and another Union soldier and a group of other people sitting around the kettle making bean soup. And this is followed by Art Snyder's antique car. Again, looks like a Studebaker. Here we have the Center Hall Fire Company. The Center Hall coming all the way from Center Hall. And look how bright the lights are. You can see that it's getting very nearly dark. And we have Craig Walker's entry. Craig Walker is pulling a wagon, and followed by the Rescue Hose Company tank truck, the beautiful stainless steel, the beautiful cream and green of the Rescue Hose Company. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the final unit, with including the Beavertown Rescue Hose Company. And there we see briefly going by and out of view the Craig Walker's entry. There, the cream and green Rescue Hose Company makes 160 units in this fantastic parade. WBVT TV Channel 3 in Beavertown has been glad to bring you this parade. We sincerely hope that our background coverage, our black and white unit, plus our color unit, will be able to portray for future generations the big 1976 Firemen's Bicentennial Parade. You see the equipment going down the street in all its glory. The darkness of the hour, the brightness of the lights makes it very difficult to operate with the equipment that we have. But so far as I can tell, this is the first time that any live event has been videotaped in Beavertown, and it's the first time that any live event has been videotaped in color. However, this we'll have to recheck, but to the best of my recollection, that's the case. Isn't that the case, Rusty? Do you know of anything ever being taped in color before in Beavertown? And of course, we're doing this for the people, the many people in Beavertown who were in the parade, and for the many generations to follow, to show them what great efforts a small town went to celebrate our nation's 200th birthday. We sincerely hope that future generations will try and outdo us. We challenge future generations that will view this tape to get a parade in Beavertown with more than 160 units. And that's our challenge to the future. And with that thought in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to conclude our telecast. We'll show some of the crowd leaving there. Right there is some of the earlier parts of the parade crossing over Sassafras Street. I don't know what the estimate of the length of the parade was, but the length of the parade route itself was more than a mile, and about the halfway point, we had to delay the parade on Market Street in order to allow units to cross. So roughly, I would say the parade was probably 2 miles long and lasted approximately an hour and a half.